all things Appalachia. I'll be doing interviews with folks living in these beautiful mountains that we all call home, covering some live events, going to share some history, and there may also be some storytelling. So y'all settle in and let's take a ride through the hills of Appalachia. Now this is kind of a special treat here. Paul is going to tell us the history of McKee from the year 1965 to roughly 1970.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, and he's going to go over the businesses and things he remembers in town at that time.
Yeah. If you step back and listen, just close your eyes, you can envision most of this stuff. The stuff I made a list of this stuff. It took me like 2 weeks of old man thinking, which is normal for me. All this stuff was within 1/4 mile of the courthouse in McKee in any direction. Okay, here we go. We had one car wash. We still have one. We had 6 gas stations, service stations. Now we have 1 repair shop and 1 gas station. We had 5 grocery stores. We have 0 in that 1/4 mile now. We have 1 parts house and 1 bank. We still have 1 parts house. Now we have 2 banks.
Yeah.
We had 1 newspaper that's been there since 1926, I believe was the year.
That's correct.
We had 6, count them, 6 eat-in restaurants within a 1/4 mile of the courthouse. Now we have 3, if you count Dairy Queen and Subway.
Yeah.
We just had the new one opened up, 2 weeks ago? The Mexican place?
It was within the last 2 weeks, yeah.
That's the only eat-in place within a 1/4 mile of the courthouse right now. We had 4 variety department
Hey, what's
stores,
going on? I
5
appreciate
and
it.
dime stores in my day. Now we have 0. We had 4 clothing stores. You could buy anything from floor-shine shoes to a 3-piece suit with a tie and cufflinks if you wanted them, and never leave within 100 feet of the courthouse.
That's amazing.
Now we have 0. We had 5 places where you buy hardware and appliances.
Yeah.
Now we have none. We had a jewelry store. We've had 2 of them in that time frame, really. Now we have none. We had 1 dry cleaner. Now we have none. We had 3 attorneys. I think now we have 4 or 5. I'm not sure of the exact number now. We had 1 doctor's office and 1 dentist.
Yeah.
We had 1 drugstore. We still have 1 drugstore, but it's a different one.
No, we have 2 now.
Within a 1/4 mile of the courthouse?
The one across from Dairy Queen may be a little farther.
That's
Sure.
almost 3/4 of a mile.
Okay, yeah.
We had 2 beauty shops, hair salons, whatever you want to call them. Ladies love these places. Now we have 1. We even had a shoe repair shop. We don't have one no more.
I don't know if there's one of those in a 50-mile radius.
There was one in Berea at where the dry cleaners is, across from near New Auto.
Yeah.
They did repairs there 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know if they still do or not.
I don't think so.
We had 1 farm store, and it had a gas pump right downtown McKee. We had a pool hall with 7 or 8 tables. We don't have that anymore. We had 1 tax office. We still got 1 tax office. That's a different thing. We had 1 each radio repair shops, a TV repair shop, a clock shop, and a gun repair shop. All by different owners. We had 2.
Got to turn my podcast up. I already can't hear my music or my podcast.
It's all
Hear
closed.
this truck.
Not for certain.
They have some appliances and furniture.
Turned it down
Okay.
last night.
We had 2 laundromats in McKee, but now we have none.
There we go.
We had, to the best of my recollection, we had 30 apartment or rental homes within a 1/4 mile of the courthouse. And I did some calculations the other day, which I may be real wrong with. I think there's only 10 apartments, maybe 1 or 2 houses
That is
within a 1/4 mile of the courthouse. Now, I don't know if Jackson's going uphill or downhill. I'm guessing down. In 1966, I think it was, I was in the FFA. I was selected to do public speaking. Had to have a white shirt and a black tie. Okay, I had neither. I didn't know how to tie a tie. Well, I told Dad, I said, I gotta go down to whichever of the stores and get me a white shirt for this public speaking thing. He said, well, you need money? I said, no, I got this. I went down and bought me a white long sleeve shirt. That's true. I don't know if they can take turn. It's a narrow tie. Like a pencil, it's like an inch wide.
Yeah.
Narrow tie. Bought those. I think I paid maybe less than $5. I got the cup and storage. And I thought, well, I'm cool. So I did the public speaking thing. And I thought, okay, this is cool. I like this. Well, we had our graduation from high school. They wanted us to wear a suit under our cap and gown. Didn't know. But I was a big boy, fat, and just tall in high school. I go down to, I believe I go to Wallace Macy's. I think it was Wallace or Warwick. So I needed a suit. They went through and they found what they needed. That I could fit into real easy. They altered the suit. It was a jacket, vest, and pants. I was thinking sharp, and no doubt in my mind I was sharp. Well, they altered the coat because my arms were only like from the middle of my spine to the tip of my fingers, like 21 inches. I was a little bit. They altered the coat. They altered the pants too. Bought me a pair of floor shab shoes. I love these big wingtip shoes. And everything I needed, less than $30 for everything, including the alterations.
Yeah.
Which today, $500 wouldn't touch it.
I don't know. It would be really expensive, that's for sure.
But this was in downtown McKee in the mid to late 60s.
Yeah.
No problem. Now, if you want to get a suit, I guess you have to go to Richmond. I don't think there's a place in Berea that sells suits that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of. I think Richmond did have the Jet Hall and J.C. Penney.
Yep, I think that's the closest place, unless there's one in London I don't know about.
That would be me too. But you know, just talking about all the businesses and things that are wild. That is awesome. I mean, that was a big thing.
It was.
What was the industry?
You either worked for the electric company or the phone company.
Yeah.
And I think they had city water, came in 60, I want to say 64, 65 time frame.
Yeah.
That was it. Unless most of the parents worked at either a factory in Berea or at the Bluegrass Ordnance. Or they were doing drywall and that stuff.
Yeah.
They had to physically leave town to find a job.
Right. And, you know, saying that kind of leads me into this. I think the price of progress a lot of times. Remember the old big deal that was, man, it was a switchback.
It was a mess.
They were, you know, and the big nice big deal came in like very industrial, very but it came in like business. This is my because, you know, like the big box stores, that was so more easily accessible. People just travel here.
Just
It is.
drive up there to one of the big stores. You had clothing, you had toys, you had groceries, you had everything you could find in McKee, but you didn't have to walk around the block.
Yeah.
I still prefer to walk around the block.
I walk, if I'm in McKee, I walk.
But up until the new road was finished in 2000, I guess, around that time frame,
Roughly, yeah.
seldom ever would you see a tractor trailer in McKee. And it was, I want to say the yellow truck line from Corbin that made deliveries here like every other day or something. That was the only big truck I ever saw till I was in my 20s. It was that one truck.
Yeah. I remember the yellow truck. They were actually large. And they didn't have the 53
stop it. Now, if he was coming to the drugstore, he would stop and he would unload his stuff, wheel it up to the sidewalk. I'd pack it up in. Not a big deal. If he were going to the hardware store, he'd circle the block and drop it whichever one he wanted to go to. And in 4 hours, he on his way back to Corn.
Yeah.
With an empty truck.
Yeah. Speaking of the semis, my wife Amy, she manages warehouse down there, and she'll have, I'd say at least 4 semis a week come in there and bring her stuff.
But that would, like I say, it's the difference between having a decent road
Yeah.
and having a curve.
Yeah.
You try to bring a semi up the old big hill, you'd burn your leg out. And you'd be in first bulldog crawling at 3 miles an hour if you're going that fast, and traffic all the way back to the rail.
Yeah.
Wait to get around and over the base.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
And on the reverse of that, going back to Dana, one of the guys was white up praying all the way, their brakes not over.
And you hear that Jake break from top to bottom.
And I myself have seen rock trucks turn off. Hold the truck back going down the hill. Lose control, flip the truck.
But rumor has it, I don't know this to be a fact, but this the third sharp left-hand curve,
Yeah.
there was 2 laying over in the bottom of that, the 50s, I think.
I don't know.
But I was told I didn't never did see it.
I don't doubt it.
It was at the long drop.
You mean it's such a rough road, but at the same time, you know, like I said, the business is they just died off like nobody's business.
So, like I say, the box stores are pretty much killed
Yeah.
the businesses in McKee.
Well, not just McKee, in all the small communities.
Mom and Pop don't stand a chance anymore.
No, and it's sad. I like the person, just being personal with, you know, any of the mom and pops, whether it's been a general store, a little mom and pop gas station, restaurant, whatever. If you come once, they will ask you who you are. You know, introduce yourself, whatever. Come twice, it's part of the group.
First time you're a stranger, second time you're family.
Yeah, that's the way it was. It was great.
Yeah, the good part about, you know, back 50 years ago, if you walked into a restaurant, hardware store, it seemed like the woman would cheer. Hey, Norm! They knew who you were.
And that, man, just the memories from stuff like that with me, and you've seen way more of it than I have. It just holds a special place in your heart, and it will forever.
Yeah, most of the, well, I'm going to say that none of the old people are still around that had these businesses.
Yeah,
But they either called you by your first name or your last name.
yeah,
Sometimes, if they really liked you, they called you by all 3 of your names if you had 3 of them.
yeah.
If they got mad at you, whatever they wanted to call you is what they called you. Well, I've never had an issue with any store I've ever been into.
Yeah,
But it's nice to know that you walk into the drugstore, somebody in there that can see you knows who you are.
right.
And they will call you by name. They'll scream across the aisle if they have to, just to let you know that you're appreciated.
Yeah,
It makes you feel good all over to know that somebody knows you and actually cares that you're there to spend some money.
right. They were glad to have your business.
Box store don't care.
Well, and people think the employees care, but they don't make it to where they should.
Right.
Give them just the lowest dollar amount they can get them by with, and provide them with a job.
Like I told you, Bob, when I started working at Campbell's Drug, and I won't say it's 1965, I'm not certain the exact month. I started out pushing the mop,
Yeah,
sweeping up, dumping trash, filling in on the register after the normal clerk would leave for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I made 65 cents an hour, and I'm still in high school.
yeah,
So I'm making $35, $40 a week
yeah,
working at the drugstore. You know what I needed? I stayed there until, I believe, about the middle of 1973.
yeah.
Minimum wage at that time was, I believe, $2.65 an hour. I was making $3.25 an hour. whoever needed it, I'd loan it to them, not a problem. But things like that, just, they tend to go away whenever
They do. It's heartbreaking.
it is.
Ain't nothing. I know what you can do to really stop it. Man, it was the biggest thing. When I first got my first public job in 1997, and that don't really seem like that long ago. That was
Just like the day before yesterday.
yeah, I had a 1973 Chevrolet Thrill with a 256 transmission. Top speed with the wind in my favor was 55 miles an hour, and that was flying out.
Going downhill.
Yeah. And the stolen gas was 99 cents a gallon. $10 a day is what it cost me to buy a pack of Camel cigarettes. I'd buy one for gas, bought a Pepsi, and I would get $7 a gas. That was exactly $10 every day. But it was so like a holiday. It was family. The lady that owned the store, she heard that I got the job, which was a good job, paying $8.75 an hour for Rock Street. She said, I know you're starting at that job. And I didn't even ask for this. She said, you probably ain't got the money to go back. She said, I know we'll hold your check back. So if you need credit for 2 weeks, just get whatever you need. And you can pay me when you get your money. And $10. Spend $10 a day on it. And when my check came, I paid it.
Good credit ever since.
Didn't even need it. I could have had it. Yeah. But just out of the blue, she told us y'all to take care of it.
It's neighbor helping neighbor.
Yeah. And it was, lady's name was Wilson. She took care of it. And unless my mind slips completely, I don't remember that till I die.
Think of all the people that have loaned you money or helped you in whatever way, and they will not take money. Say, we pay for it. Bring me a gallon of gas. Don't worry about it. It's covered.
Yeah.
Unsung heroes of that place.
They don't want recognition.
No,
They do it because that's what they're supposed to do.
it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Their name up lights. They don't even want you to pat them on the back.
No.
Shake hands and say thank you. And that's it.
I've lived at where I'm living at now. We've lived there 26, 27 years. I'm going to say safely, I've had at least 50 people either stop in my driveway, broke down, need gas, red, whatever. And I'll take them, I'll get them some gas, whatever they need. I don't need no money.
Right.
Had a guy, this has been 8, maybe 9 years ago. The stator went out of his car, shut down that fast in front of my mailbox. And I went there to tell them they like 25, see if they needed tools or whatever. I said, man, I don't might be you sitting out there the next time.
It has been me before, and people tell me, and I am so thankful for everybody that's helped me in life because they probably helped me way more than I deserve. So I would feel like dirt if I didn't help somebody.
That's about the way I am.
Yeah, so everybody listening, if you can help somebody, do it without seeking.
It's a whole lot easier to give than to take. I can give faster than I can take it.
Livingstone Outreach Incorporated is a nonprofit organization located in Sand Gap, Kentucky. Their mission is to serve people of all ages and background with provision that helps sustain them. Their beliefs and values drive their mission. By tangible provision, emotional support, and spiritual development, their desire is to help others reach their potential with positive goals in mind. Jesus left us with the commandment to love one another as he has loved us. This is the foundation and purpose of their ministry. The mailing address is 77 Highway 2004, McKee, Kentucky, and their phone number is 606-287-7784. Until next time, y'all remember to stay humble, be kind, and no matter what, stay awesome, Appalachia. Appalachian Imagination is a podcast of the people, for the people, and by the people of Appalachia. We remember our past, we live in the present, and look toward the future of Appalachia. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Appalachian Imagination. All right, welcome back, everybody, and today I have with me Mr. Billy Keith Venable from Sand Gap, Kentucky. Was you born and raised there, Billy?
Well, I was born in Madison County, but was raised in Sand Gap there, up at Dry Fork Ridge.
Yeah, you're still there, yeah?
Still right there.
Yeah. Hard to leave home, ain't it?
Yeah, it's hard to leave home. You leave, but you come back.
Right. Were you a pretty good kid growing up?
Well, yeah, till I could do something till I get whooped.
You get a lot of whoopings.
Well, some, but I guess not a whole lot. But to me, there's a whole lot. It's always into something you know you wasn't supposed to. You get a whooping every.
Welcome to Appalachian Imagination.
Your podcast for all things Appalachian.
History, storytelling, folklore, ways of life.
As well as interviews with people living in the region.
So settle in and let's take a ride
through the hills of Appalachia. All right, welcome to Appalachian Imagination. Today we've got a repeat guest on the show.
A repeat offender.
Yeah. Repeat offender, yeah. The world famous Jason Lanehart. Beefy, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. World famous.
World famous.
Glad to have you back, Beefy.
Yeah.
From the Gap to Tyner, he's world famous.
Now, recording this, we did make him turn his back to us so we didn't have to look at him.
Yeah, they said I was pretty ugly growing up. I was so ugly when I was born that there's a woman that lived beside of us had a baby about the same time that I was born.
Oh.
and yeah, I was like, get it, Fido. But Mommy, when she'd go to town, go to McKee, she would stop and ask that woman if she could take her baby because I was so ugly.
I was so ugly when I was a baby. They'd rub me down the pork chop so the dog played with
Well,
me.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be me, definitely.
Oh, God.
I'm glad to be back, boys. I've listened to several of your podcasts.
Yep, it's a growing pretty steadily.
It's going good, and I'm thankful for it.
Yeah,
That's
I am
good.
too.
I think it's a good thing. it's got possibilities. You boys may even turn out to go aluminum or copper or anything.
Yeah. I'd be satisfied with copper.
Well, they'd steal you in a heartbeat.
It'd be hard to go copper. They've carried it all off.
Yeah.
Well, there goes Danny's leg. Oh, Lord.
We're real pleased with it, though. Appreciate you coming back on, too.
I'm glad to be back. I've been off work for a couple weeks. They told me I could take off a month, and then they called me and said, "Nope, 2 weeks. Your job's too important. We ain't got nobody around here that can do your job."
Oh, yeah?
I thought, well, cleaning toilets ain't that hard. Oh, Lord. But, no, I got to go back to work Sunday night, and I dread it.
Sunday night?
Yeah.
I just come off of vacation. Went back last night.
Mine was unpaid, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I had to take a personal leave.
Now, I thought all paternity leave was like paid now.
Well, I haven't been there long enough. I just went back. My year is coming up, and well, if you work in a factory, you know that's any way they can do to, you know, to lay the whammy to you, they'll do. But yeah, I was hoping to get that month off. I was gonna do a GoFundMe.
Oh yeah,
Not really. You'll set it up here, right? All I eat's bologna, but them young'uns like lobster. Yeah.
Well, speaking of lobster, me and Patsy and the boys went out to eat at Red Lobster the other day. It was expensive.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was taken back by the bill.
I can't imagine.
It was $40 higher than what it used to be.
Yeah, well, that's what I was getting ready to say. Last time I went, I vowed to never be back.
No, I won't be either.
And
I mean,
not because of the price. We waited 2.5 hours just for them to come and ask us they forgot that we was there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've had that happen.
And like 2.5 hours to come and get our drink orders.
Oh,
And I'm the type that my tongue, buddy, it's a double-edged sword.
I'm the same way.
And like I wanted to say something, and my little woman she would not let me say nothing. She's like, "Don't say nothing, Jason." And I was like, "All right." It's killing me. So
Well, I'm just like you. I can't hold my tongue.
yeah, especially with stupid stuff like that. You know, that's just my opinion. I ain't worth much.
I think after about 30 minutes, I probably would have left.
Yeah.
You're a trooper.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we was just sitting there talking, you know.
Yeah.
And it was literally like 2 hours had went by. And I was looking around, they'd walk this way and that way. They kind of had us in that cubby hole when you first walk into the right.
Yeah.
There's a wall, and they've got like 4 or 5 tables right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
that happened to us a while back at a restaurant in London, and they gave us our drinks, but never did. It was like an hour and a half.
really,
And he finally, I flagged him down, and I come over, I said, "Hey," I said, "we've been here about an hour and a half." I said, "and we're leaving, and I'm not paying for these drinks." "Okay, I'm sorry about that." He said, "if you want to stay, we'll get right on it." And I said, "Nope, I'm good."
yeah.
Well, you got everywhere's understaffed.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, you got to,
Yeah, you have to do that too.
you can't walk away hating them. You got to understand a little bit.
Right. But
Yeah, I
like,
would
like you
left.
said earlier, 30 minutes and big dumb me, I just kept talking. And which we stayed and we ate. And the food wasn't that good either. Yeah. And I was like, well, am I going to get a discount or anything?
Yeah.
We'll get you a dessert. I said, I'm diabetic. I don't need a dessert.
Yeah.
So they knocked half of our bill or half of whatever my wife got.
Yeah.
And that's been 3 years ago, and I ain't been back since. I don't know if I'll ever go back. I may just go to Captain D's. I like it pretty good, ain't gonna lie.
I love Captain D's. Probably one of my favorite restaurants.
Like them crab cakes, boy, them good.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
They are real good.
I can eat quite a few of them.
I fixed have you ever eat Cajun food?
Oh, yeah.
I fixed a big old pot of red beans and rice with andouille sausage, and
Boy, it looked good.
I bought a 2 pound of crawfish tails,
Yeah.
son, and foundered.
You ever eat them Boudin sausage?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Hey, them's get back right there.
Yeah.
Good.
It looked good. I saw you video.
Yeah, I put it on there. I used to put videos on that Facebook all the time.
I remember it. Yeah.
I'd be cooking and living by myself, and there'd be enough food there for 10, 12 people. So
Yeah.
I got a buddy, and every time I'd put him on there, he'd show up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, pace back and forth. It's like, man, go get you a plate of that. Really? Nope. I wouldn't do that. I'd rather. I'm like my mommy, poor old mommy. She'd cook a feast every night.
Yeah.
You know.
That's all right.
You can tell by looking at me, I ain't never went without food. Now, I may have went without other stuff, but never food.
Well, I like to eat now. I enjoy eating out, but it's just a high anymore.
It is.
There is a reason. I don't know if you want to go over this now or later. But there's a reason why you're off or been off a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you kind of spilled the beans a little bit ago there. You said,
I did?
I thought they'd give you so much time for paternity leave.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did, didn't I?
But I didn't have a young one. I look like I'm about to have one. But a lot of people know, that we had us.
Yeah.
We had us another little young, a little girl.
People listening in the other parts of the country may not know.
Right. But I got to tell you a story about this. It's actually pretty neat. Now, my wife wouldn't say this, but she'd probably threaten me. But it was pretty neat. So, let's see. How can I throw her under the bus? Most women are procrastinators.
Yeah.
And my wife is probably the queen of procrastination. And so, no matter what it is, I mean, anything. When she gets up to go to work in the morning, the youngins they barely leave on time, and she's rushing the whole way.
Yeah.
And I get on to her about that stuff all the time. I'm like, if you'd leave 10, 15 minutes early, you wouldn't have to be excited like that. But so anyway, so I worked third shift.
Yep.
And I when my other daughter was born, I was doing these tests in Frankfurt, and I knew the whole time. I just knew, when you know,
Really?
like in the worst situation or scenario, this is going to happen to you. So I knew then that I'd be in Frankfurt, and my wife would call whenever our first daughter was born, and
Bad feeling.
yeah, and sure enough, sure enough. So I jumped in a state police. One of them Ford Exploder cruisers,
Yeah.
and I made it from Frankfurt, from the Kentucky State Police headquarters to London Hospital in 51 minutes.
Wow.
Almost beat her there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, me thinking, fast forward 3 years, 3.5 years, whatever. So I'm thinking, well, wonder what it's going to be now. I work third shift. I know that I'm going to be at work, and she's going to call me. My water's broke. Oh God,
Yeah.
So I'm on my lunch, November the 11th, and my lunch is from 3:30 to 4 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
So I'm sitting there. I didn't really take nothing to eat with me, because most of the time I eat on my first break. I take whatever we had for supper, a little bit, to nibble on.
Mhm.
And so I'm sitting there, and 3:52, I'm watching YouTube or something at break, and hits her, and I knew right then, boom. So
Wow.
I was like, hello. She said, I think you need to come home. Click, boom, I'm running off to a dead start.
Yeah.
I'd go outside, it's pouring the rain, 30-something degrees. Look down, got 1/8 of a tank of gas. Now I've got to get from Richmond to London, going through Jackson County 421 the whole way. We've got to drop the kids off at her grandma's over in Anvil.
Oh.
And so I make it home in about 11 minutes. I got the flashers on. I'm going around them curves in a big Toyota Highlander,
Yeah.
Modocking, as we would say.
Yeah.
Pull up right in front of the house, and our middle child at the time, Austin, he's just standing there with this look on his face. And so I run in the house, and she's in the bathroom. She's like, I can't get up. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't get up? I said, did your water break? Yeah. She's screaming, son. High heaven.
Lord.
Oh God. Oh, I can't emulate that.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I've got to you got to chill. It was my anxiety.
I can imagine.
He can shoot off like it right there.
I know.
And so I'm trying to, I'm like, okay, honey, what do you want me to do? You want me to call 911? No. And I'm apologizing to her too. I'm like, man, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make a joke out of it to myself, not to her, because she'd probably give me that old right uppercut.
Yeah.
And she said, I can't get up. I can't get up. And I'm like, you have to get up.
Yeah.
And I said, you want me to call 911? Okay, call 911. So I walk in the living room and I call dispatch, and they answer, and I'm explaining the situation. Well, do you want us to send you an ambulance? I said, not yet. I said, but I'm going to get her in this car, and we're going to start making the track to Laurel County.
Yeah.
I said, so I just wanted to call and let you know that if I do call, you have them on standby.
Well, that's a good idea.
And so I turn around, and she's standing there. She's like, all right, let's go. So we get the kids in the car, and I've got the seat put back as far as I can let it go, and she's screaming. I've never heard nothing like this in my life.
Yeah.
Because with McKenna, we get there, they give her epidural, 1-2 pushes, and she's here. It wasn't no big deal.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I've never been personally around nothing like that.
Yeah.
And I was freaking out, but I was trying to be calm and be motivated. You're doing so good, honey. I'm so proud, you know, and all this good stuff. And so we're making the track to London. She's screaming. We start over 290 Hill, and there's a wreck.
Oh, Lord.
And blue lights. And a wrecker. It was actually a wrecker. And here I was screaming to high heaven, get out of the way. I ain't got time. And I'm going through there,
Yeah.
you know. And I ain't got time for talking because the wrecker pulled up. And if they listen to this, I apologize to you. But I squalled, get on, because I ain't got time for y'all to sit and talk.
Yeah.
He was pulled up beside some vehicle. And so I moseyed on around that way, and we pull into her grandma's road. And as soon as we do, she goes, oh, my God. And I thought, oh, Lord, she's had the young'un right here in the car.
Oh, Lord.
She said, the gas light's on.
Oh.
I was like, oh, God. So, you know, I was like, honey, these new vehicles get 60 or 70 miles after that light comes on. It's all right. Don't worry. I said, you just focus and breathe. So we done like a NASCAR pit stop with the kids. Just stop and push them out and keep going, you know,
Yeah.
at 4 something in the morning. So here we are. We're going down 30. I'm going as fast as I think that I can go. I probably could have, but I was just afraid. You know, I didn't want to scare her.
Oh, yeah.
And so I called London Hospital when I left work, told them. And then I called them as soon as we got on the interstate in London, up by the police post, get on and drive to the next exit, and you're right there at the hospital.
Yeah.
So I called them, and I was like, you know, her contractions are less than a minute apart. I was looking at the clock, trying to do multitask, and I'm not no good at that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, they're less than a minute apart. You could hear her screaming the whole time, this, that, and the other. And they was like, okay, we'll have some people waiting out on you. What do you drive? And I told them, well, Big Dummy Me pulls in at London Hospital and pulls up to the main part. And Tamara's like, you're in the wrong spot. You know, and I'm like, oh, God. So I'm backing up, turning, this, that, and the other. And I look over there, and there's these 2 male nurses sitting there standing and talking in the rain with a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and Tamara's screaming, she's here. She's like, I cannot not push.
Oh, my
She said, I'm trying to keep from pushing, but I'm pushing.
Yeah.
Said, I can feel her. She's coming out of me.
Oh, my Lord.
So we pull right up to the emergency room doors, and that guy walks up, and I've got the window down screaming. She's like the baby's being born. He opens the door and jerks her pants and under bloomers off, and then Tamara's sitting there, and he's like, he looked at her and looked at me, and he's like, no, hold on. And he looked at that other boy, and he said, go get a bed. And then when he turned, I seen it all in slow motion. It was weird. She's screaming, pouring the sweat, just like something you'd see on a movie.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, God. And he turned, and when he did, I seen the baby's head coming out right there on the passenger side seat of the car.
Oh, wow.
And then he said, no, she's coming now. He looked at her and said, bear down. And she did and pushed, son, and boom, right there.
In the car
In the parking lot, right in front of the ER doors in the passenger side seat of our vehicle. Thank God for leather, because it looked like a murder scene.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awful.
Imagine.
You know, it was awful. But I'm sitting there in awe because you just hear of stuff like this,
Yeah.
you know. And it blew me away. Of course, I was crying like a little baby, and it was just, it was like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
And then I looked at Tamara and I said, because I'd made this joke weeks prior. I was like, you ain't going to get that epidural, are you? Yes, I'm going to get that epidural. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
She didn't get it this time.
Well, I don't think I've seen it in movies, but I've never met anybody that had that happen to.
Yeah, it was the wildest thing.
I can't even imagine how freaked out you was. I know I would be.
Man, that's what's so awesome about the Lord. And they sang that old song, he may not come when you want him, but he'll be there right on time. And it was just like, as soon as I seen that baby come out, I knew everything. It was just,
About that.
yeah, just peace.
Yeah.
So I look at my little girl, and McKenna, when she was born, she was Casper White. And you look at me, I look like a walking zombie. I'm so pale. This baby's so dark red skinned. I mean, just red. And it gets it after Tamara's dad, because he was real red skinned.
What about that?
Yeah. But I'm tickled to death.
That's a
That's
story.
good. We're happy for you.
Yeah, we named her Kelsey Ann.
Kelsey, yep.
I am tickled to death.
Almost made it to the hospital.
Almost to the ER, right in front of the door. and Tamara, once we got up there, she was like, well, she said, thank God it was 5 o'clock in the morning. So they let me guess the time that she was born. And I said, I'm going to say 5:05.
Yeah.
And so they said 5:05 in the
Well,
morning.
what are the odds that you pull up and there be two guys standing out there and know how to deliver a baby?
Well, that's then the guy. He had sleeve tattoos, just a cool looking dude. And the other dude just looked like normal old me.
Yeah.
And he came to us 3 times, and after we was only in the hospital for 1 day,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. He came up to check on the baby and Tamara.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, I bet you ain't never done that before. And he said, no. I was like, man, that's awesome.
That is great.
Yeah, it was just weird. The young, and I tell her she's my little Indian baby because she's red skinned anyway.
Yeah.
And I said, you was born in the elements.
Yeah.
In the freezing November rain.
Yeah.
I was going to play Guns N' Roses in the background for her, but I did in the cold November rain.
I could hear this guitar solo going off.
Yeah.
But I thought, I told Tamara, I said, what a story we get to tell this baby.
That's what I was going to say.
For as long as we're here. Mm-hmm. Tell her, you was born in the, in the passenger side seat of this vehicle.
Yeah, she's just ready to come on.
Yep.
Just ready. That's kind of what when we went through the whole process with Brody and Branson, they tried to figure out what caused maybe the early birth and stuff like that, and it wasn't nothing that Patsy done wrong or anything, because Patsy was all about it, done everything perfectly, and they just said it was just they wanted to come out.
Yep, they wanted to be here.
As small as my boys was, they was born, I think, at 22, 23 weeks. And they weighed 1.8 pounds and 1.12 pounds total. I mean, small. Patsy calls them her little squirrels.
Yeah.
'Cause that's about how big
They
was.
were little bitty. I seen the pictures of them.
Yeah. And even at that, how little they was, they never stopped moving inside her belly. Kicking, I mean, like low down, like fighting in there almost.
Well, see, we went to the doctor, to the baby doctor, every Friday prior, like 3 weeks before she came.
Yeah.
And she was breech when we went.
Yeah.
So she hadn't turned yet. Mm-hmm. And then like one day I was looking at Tamara and I said, honey, she's turned. And this was like on a Tuesday. Yeah. And we had to go back to the doctor that Friday. And I told him, I said, that baby's turned. You don't have to do nothing. I said, her belly has dropped.
Yeah.
Sure enough, she had turned.
What about that?
Stop by today at the best little gas station in town, Whistle Stop Express in Sand Gap. We are located at 57 State Highway 2004, right off of Highway 421 behind Family Dollar. We are open Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. You can purchase a wide variety of goods while refueling your vehicle. We have gas, diesel, automotive products, as well as hydraulic fluids. We carry a line of livestock feed and Pride dog food, along with tobacco products and postage stamps. We offer notary services and propane tank sales and exchange. Don't miss out on our full breakfast, lunch, and dinner menu that's served all day. We love our community and appreciate all of our wonderful customers. Swing by or give us a call at 965-7613.
But yeah, man, that was the coolest thing that ever was.
I'd like to say congratulations on the new baby and all the babies. I love my kids. I know you guys love yours too.
Yeah, buddy.
They, if you have hair, they'll make you want to pull it out, but
Yeah.
you just don't. It's
Danny looked at me and laughed.
yeah.
I still ain't touched that. That's 8.5, 9 months or something, somewhere in
Getting
there.
some growth. We're gonna have to.
Yeah,
pray.
them's probably 4 or 5 inches long.
They're getting up there.
You have
And
to,
I'll do that at the house and get in a certain part of light. And my wife start laughing. I'm like, you love that, don't you, honey?
You know, I shave my head. I've got a full head of hair.
Yeah, I know you do. It makes me so mad. I ain't even
thick,
like
and
you right now.
There's a guy at work that gets on me all the time. He said, "Look at this idiot. Got a full head of hair, thick as anything, and he shaves it all off. It wouldn't bother me a bit if ever hair on my head fell out. Though.
Well, that's me now. I've got so used to, like, I wish I'd like to have everything surgically removed.
Yeah,
Just be a cue ball. That would be great.
it's a lot of trouble to shave your head.
It's aggravating.
Yeah,
I mean, it is.
but my hair, I just don't like. I never have. I've had my hair cut short for 20-some
Yeah,
years.
it's been a long time.
Been a real long time.
Yeah, but back to babies. They ain't nothing like them, young'uns. Young'uns and old people that's listening. I know I ain't telling nobody nothing they don't know, but I never dreamed that I could ever love something as much as I love my kids. Even my bonus children, my 2-step boys.
Yeah,
I mean, I am head over heels in love with them.
that's good.
And I know this may sound weird to some, but I don't see any difference in,
no, you have to treat them all.
I mean,
Oh yeah,
I mean, like, literally, I don't, like, as far as my heart and jumping in traffic over,
Yeah.
I mean, I love them 2 boys. You know, they were 7 and 5 when I first got in their lives, and they mean more to me, and I aggravate. That's how you know that Jason Lanehart, Beefy, likes you, because I'll aggravate you.
Oh, yeah.
That's just the way I am. I've always been like that.
yeah.
I'll try to make you laugh. I'll cut up with you and find something and like I'd always make fun of how you laugh at me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, yeah.
What are the boys there? Do they have trouble deciphering between the serious and the
I think
cutting on them?
I think everybody does. That's the most common thing that people tell me. They're like, man, I don't know if you're being serious or not.
I've wondered it myself, and I've known Beefy literally my whole
Yeah.
life. And he'll come off with something, and you'll swear up and down that he's like
He's
being
telling
as
the biggest.
serious as he can be, and then he'll just start dying laughing. I'm like, I got you, you idiot.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a lot of problems with. Excuse me, sorry about that, but
Flam.
Flam, yep, an awful name, Flam. But I can be serious, and I'm not mad or anything. But my voice sounds so stern that people think I'm mad at them. Like,
And I'm a passionate person. Like if we were talking about, I don't like music. That's probably one of my big things. And like you told me that Conway Twitty was the most overrated, you know, and I'd be like, man, you're crazy. And I would just keep getting louder and squeakier and higher and louder.
Yeah.
And like I get passionate about stuff and people think that I'm mad when I'm just being passionate about it.
Patsy tells me that I look mad all the time when I'm just not just sitting around or something. Or she says I've naturally got a mean look on my face.
Yeah, my
all
wife
the
does
time.
too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, big time.
yeah. And Patsy made me a shirt one time, and I wear it all the time. I do actually like it, and it describes me pretty good. But it says, "I'm nicer than my face looks."
I want to get Tamara one of them.
Yeah.
And that new baby, little Kelsey, has got that look on it.
oh yeah,
I wish people could see it right here.
Yeah,
And I'll be driving down the road on the driver's side and just look over at Tamara, and she's sitting over. And I'm like sometimes I'll take my fingers and smooth out she's got these wrinkle lines where she makes that face so much.
yeah.
And I'm like, honey, are you? And she's like, I'm not mad. It's just my face,
That's
my
the way
resting
I am.
face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can see you right now looking at, people going up and talk to them. I'd like to invite you to church Sunday. Real mean looking.
yeah.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Does she listen to this podcast?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm dead, ain't I?
You're going to be so far back in the doghouse, you meet somebody, you don't know whether to shake hands or sniff butts.
Yeah. I like to tell people that my wife, and this is such a lie if anybody that knows Tamara, but I do this anyway to aggravate her, and I like to do it when I'm out, and I say it in front of her because it's embarrassing. I tell everybody that my wife is part Indian and part Bulldog.
Oh, God.
And they'll say, "What do you mean?" And I say, "Well, if she ain't up on the warpath, she's sitting on her hind end growling."
Oh, Lord.
And if I don't get my wife to say, "I'll kill you," at least
Well.
twice a day, then I've not accomplished or achieved anything in
Yeah.
life.
I'd say she really thinks about it.
Oh, yeah. She told me twice today that I know of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Beefy and his wife Tamara are
Polar
opposites in every way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've
I mean,
never
she's
met her.
this little bitty. She can't be 5'4".
She's 5'2", I think.
Little bitty, short little woman. And me and my wife saw her down at the courthouse a while back voting. And she walked in, and I'm just like, Lord, she's so tiny.
Yeah. And Tamara, there's some, like, sometimes I feel bad because I look over at her and she looks like she's about 14 or 15 year old.
She's young.
She does sometimes, except for when she's making that face, which is most of the time. No, I'm joking.
She's a really, really
Yeah,
good,
she's
sweet woman.
she's a sweetheart, and you would never know she's in a room.
Yeah.
You know,
Why?
Really
she's
quiet.
actually came out of her shell a lot because of me. I mean, she has no other choice. Like, I know everybody, and when I go places, if I see somebody I don't know, I'll start talking to them and put her in that situation where she has to talk. And I don't do it purposely.
That's just how you are.
That's just how I am.
I'm wired the same way.
Yeah.
You drop me out of an airplane in any country in the world, I'm gonna talk to somebody.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
will. I've always been like it. I never had any trouble making friends. It's just keeping them.
We're the only two he's got left from childhood.
Yeah, only two.
You know, speaking of that, they ain't too many people that we went to school with that I am friends with or keep in contact
Right,
with
me-
other than you.
Right. Me. I mean, honestly.
And that's the truth. Me and Beefy has always kept up with each other.
No matter.
We was big buddies in school, all throughout school.
Yep. And that's what's so awesome about Appalachia, too. I'll throw that in since I'm on the Appalachian Imagination.
Yeah.
Like, no matter if it's been 6 years since I've talked to Danny, I could meet and we pick up right where we left off.
Absolutely do.
And I think that's awesome. I don't know if that's just a small town thing or our region or what it is.
I believe it. I believe it's got something to do with it because I've got friends. I've got several friends. You know, may not see them 2 years.
Well, think about me and you, for instance, Jake.
Yeah, we hadn't talked.
We ain't talked in a long time. Nothing like this.
No.
You know, like I'd see you out sometimes. I think when you first started playing music in your band, I saw you out, and I was asking you about it, and we had maybe a 5-minute conversation. It was at a store somewhere.
Yeah, down at Phillips.
Yeah,
I think.
and I hadn't seen you in Coon's age.
No.
Yeah.
You know, a Coon's age definition, a long time.
Yeah.
People in California be like, "Hey man, what's a Coon's age?"
Yeah. So you talking about how old a coon is?
Yeah, it's pretty old. You tell them by their teeth. You just walk up to them and open their mouth.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
No.
Speaking
Do
of
not.
coon, you talking about a mean animal?
They are.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
I seen this true live story. I was there. Went coon hunting one time, but the guy went with us. He had a monster of a big black and tan hound. I'm gonna throw black and tan in there. Plug my dog because she's black and tan. She's beautiful. She's amazing. But he had a big stout dog, and we was coon hunting, and that's a tradition around here. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I've been several times.
And they shot the coon and they hit him in the backbone, so it crippled his back end.
Yeah.
So that coon come rolling out of that tree with no use of its back legs whatsoever. It whipped that big monster of
yeah.
a black
I was
and
fixing
tan
to
dog
say.
and a walker dog.
Yeah.
And couldn't shoot it because it's right at her feet in the creek and rocks.
That
you
just
know?
made it fight harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty rough, man.
They ended up having to, they had to beat it to death as the gun stopped killing.
They've got
yeah.
a growl. They've got a growl on them that you'd think is a bear.
I'll tell you something else. I've live trapped 4 or 5 right there at the house, and I live right on the main road.
You do?
Yeah.
And I've where I had them chickens. I've still got 2 finally. Well, that's all that's left out of 22 that I had.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a rooster I call Lucky because he only had one eye when I got him.
Yeah.
And then I've got this old hen that's left. I've got to get me some more. I'm going to have to fortify my fence down there.
Yeah.
But but I love fresh chicken eggs. Ain't nothing no better. But I've live trapped 4 or 5. And I was always told, now, Jason, you probably know this better than I would, but at least take them 5 miles from where you live.
Yeah.
Because I swear I took one down to Indian Creek at Hooten and dropped it off at the creek, and I swear in about a week it was the same one that I caught again.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
A raccoon now?
Yeah.
I ain't never heard that.
And
Makes sense.
if you ever had to catch one in a live trap, son, they love honey buns. Every time I ever put one in there.
Really?
Yes, sir.
I've live trapped one that kept getting in my trash a couple years ago, and I set out a trap and caught one.
Yeah.
And I took him over to the cemetery, Potter Cemetery,
Yeah.
over and let him go.
I like honey buns too. I kind of
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah,
Yep.
go in there for a honey bun.
They'll fight every part of their body will fight.
Yeah, everything in them.
Yeah.
Catch one in a live trap and then stick your hand. Don't stick your hand in
No,
there.
no, don't do
Put
that.
a little stick in there and watch him.
I was worried to death because them live traps that I'm sure we're talking about the same one. You got to lift that up and
Yeah.
let the thing come back. And I think that thing's going to stick its paw through that cage and rip me to
He's
shreds.
gonna get me.
Yeah, I like to watch them though because I was always told too that they're clean animals.
Yeah.
When they eat and stuff, I know, like this. I caught one, and it looked like it'd been through the ringer, but its paws, front and back, was just as clean and black,
Huh.
and it'd sit in there and eat that honey bun,
Wow.
and then get mad at me because I'd put the live trap. See, I knew I was either a kid that there was some stray cats at the house, or there was coons.
Yeah.
And I told my wife, I said, I ain't seen a cat around here. It has to be coons. So, because they was getting my trash, I was taking our weekly trash and putting it in the back of this little Ford Ranger that I'd got, and I was taking it to the landfill once a week. It was cheaper for me to do that. So, I went to the landfill and got one of Tudor's big live traps and set it back there, and he said, put a honey bun in it. And I thought, sardines is what I was
That's
always
what I
told.
used.
Sardines?
Yep.
Yeah. And he said, no. He said, yeah, I promise you. You put a honey bun in there, son, and you'll catch one for sure.
I never heard that.
And I threw a honey bun in that night and caught one. And let's see, I give it to a wager's boy. And then I caught another one. And I give it to Taylor, sells feed up there in the Gap, his boy.
Oh, yeah.
I give his mother one. And then I took 2 to Indian Creek. And I swear I believe that one of them come back to the house. And boys, I know that's more than 5 miles. Ash Tree's 7 or 8 miles through there to get back to the house.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how
But
far it is.
I swear I believe it was
It
the
may
same
be.
one.
You know, you're talking about them eating. Times are different now than they were than it was when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
We had a coon in a cage. Wasn't really a pet. He'd get a hold of you if you stuck your hand in there.
Yeah.
Had a coon in a cage. A dog killed a chicken.
Yeah.
Just feed it to the coon. Put that chicken in with that coon that evening. The next morning, there was no sign of a chicken nowhere.
They eat feathers and all.
Oh, yeah,
Feathers,
they'll eat
feet,
about it.
beak, everything. It ate the whole thing.
Well, see, that's why I was telling my wife I didn't think that there was another coon up there because I had 21 hens killed total.
Oh well.
Gosh.
And whatever was getting in there with them, I had concrete blocks put around the I had the fence dug down in the ground and up and under,
Yeah.
and had gravel on it. And I think it was a mink. Now I've never seen one around here, but I was told that's what it could have been.
I seen one ran over not too long ago.
I've never
Mink?
seen one. Yeah.
Did you?
I've watched them hunting videos and stuff, and people going out and trapping them.
Yep.
But I've never seen one in real life.
Yeah, I saw that one ran over, and I saw a muskrat one time down on Sand Lick in that creek.
Let me tell you one. I don't know if you boys remember this. You remember Atkinstown Dump?
Oh, well, who
Yeah.
don't?
Yeah.
When I was a little boy, people would go up there with 22 rifles and kill them rats. And I promise you that some of them rats looked like they was as big as beagle hounds. I remember thinking,
They had plenty to eat.
I remember thinking that was the biggest nastiest looking animal that I had ever seen in my life. It was as big as a full-grown possum, but it was a rat, a neutral rat. I think's what they call them down south. I can't imagine when they clean that up. I can't imagine the stuff they the stuff they found.
I never did go do that, but that was kind of a sport when we were in high school.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to go out the dump and shoot some rats with us?
Yep.
I got a whole box of 22 shells.
You remember when it's $7? Well, it's $5.77 for a 500-round box.
Oh yeah, get big old box.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We went on a frog slaying mission one night down there at Sand Lick. There's a big pond down there, and it would flood sometimes. And my buddy lives back in the mouth of it in a cabin, and well, he's married to my cousin. But we got down there and we'd go frog slaying. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah. There's all kinds of extracurricular activities like that.
Yeah, that's what we do around here. I mean, that's just normal.
Snake hunting, rat killing.
You know, I'm proud of my boy, my youngest boy. Well, all my kids, I'm proud of them, but my boys, they are outdoorsmen.
That's good.
My youngest boy, he's been squirrel hunting, and he don't waste either. I've taught him, you know, if you're going to kill it, eat
it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's been out busting squirrels with a 20-gauge shotgun. He just turned 11 years old.
What's his name?
Carter.
Yeah, I think I go to church with him.
Yeah.
I think we was talking about that here a while back. He told me how many he had killed.
Yeah.
And I said, bud, you ready to have I don't know if he's been eating them right off or freezing them or what he's been doing. But when I was growing up, that's what we did after the south end, going toward Turkey Foot. We'd all hunt, and then everybody'd get together and go to them cabins down in Steer Fork, Teddy Creek's cabins down in there. And I was always around them old drunk men. We'd stay down there 3 or 4 days, and they'd fix off this big old pot of dumplings and soup, and Sunday wasn't nothing no better than that.
No, buddy.
And we went took the family down to Cedar Key, Florida back in the summer before school came back in, and Carter was into frog gigging big back then.
I reckon they got some big ones down there.
Well, he went in the bait shop and he found him a gig. He said, "Look, Dad, I found one." He had one and he broke the tines off of it. So he's so excited over a $5 gig. And he's a Kentucky State frog gigging champion.
That's
currently. Awesome. I guess I just
I wish
that
I
up,
could get. Now I've got my boy. One of my boys is a worker, and son, he'll work like nobody that you've ever met. And then the other one, you can't get him to do nothing. I tell him. Sometimes I'll tell him. I'll say, "Son, if breathing didn't come natural, you'd suffocate." And he don't get it. You know, he don't get what I'm saying.
Did you ever go turtle jugging?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Done a lot of that. Have you ever eat turtle?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
have you ever
love it.
Have you ever eat soft shell turtle?
No.
It tastes a little bit different.
Does it?
Yep. In certain spots, like I like the neck. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
But soft shells are a little bit different. They look like a pig. Their face. It's wild looking.
Yeah, I've seen the turtles, but I never ate one.
Now I'm gonna admit something right here, and I ain't gonna be like Larry the Cable Guy. Lord forgive me, you know, or whatever. But I was young, and I was at my cousin's house, and he was showing me his papaw's guns. He's got this big deck. I ain't gonna say how old I was, but I was younger. And he grabbed that big 223, and I remember his papaw all the time. That's what he hunted with. And I said, has it got shells in it? And he said, yeah. And he's got this big pond out behind his house. And I seen a crane, big crane, flying over. And it landed probably, no joke, 700 yards out there in that pond, way at the very end of it. And I was just shooting at it to scare it. I said, watch this. And I just grabbed the gun in one motion and just didn't even aim, just pow, flop, killed it, stone dead.
God, that's a long shot.
Yeah,
too.
and he said he's real monotone. He's real monotone when he talks. And he goes, you know you're going to have to eat it.
So just like...
So I hope he listens to this. He'll know exactly.
I believe
what
he
I'm
does listen
about.
to him.
He'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And son, I was shaking all over. I got on a 4-wheeler or riding lawnmower or something and went out there, and it had a big metal band around its leg.
Oh man.
Oh,
and if I'd have been older, they'd have probably buried me under a jail. I cut the breast out of it, and we put 948 gallons of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce on it, threw it on the grill, and cut me a little tiny piece of it off. And the more I chewed, the bigger it got.
Yeah.
And the meat was as blue as Kentucky Wildcat colors. It was
Yeah.
blue looking.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? Everybody knows what a guinea is.
Oh, yes.
Noise and hat feathers.
Yep.
Yeah.
My papa used to eat them.
Now, I've heard people eating them, but I don't think I could.
No, I ain't never tried.
They're pretty
that.
nasty looking.
They are
They
mean too.
They
Yep.
make nice hat feathers.
Oh, yeah.
But I had a neighbor in America, and I had chickens, and I had a couple guineas that was really young. They wouldn't really bother nothing, but the neighbor's guinea come out there and just beat the devil out of
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, you're going to have to put your guinea up, get it and take it home with you.
Yeah.
I even caught it for him. I was nice enough to do that because, okay, we'll take it home. They took it home, set it right back out, and
In
it
the
comes
yard.
straight back to the house the
Yeah.
very next day. So my daughter, JC, you can ask her about this. It landed on top of the crib, took a shotgun and killed it.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no dead eye shot or nothing. So it flopped a few times and flew over the fence and fell in the field. And I said, go get it, JC.
I can see her going to get it.
What are we going to do with it? I said, we're going to eat it.
Yeah.
That meat was as blue as a fish hook.
Yeah,
as they say.
I've heard they're blue meated.
Guineas is mean too, buddy.
Yeah.
I remember when I was little, I think it may have been my Uncle Roger had a bunch of guineas. And they got even meaner when they had babies.
Yeah.
That was too tough to eat. Could have made shoe bottoms out of it or something.
I remember my mom walking outside one day for whatever reason was trying to shoo them off.
Yeah.
And she was in her nightgown when on that gravel road there, Potter Road used to be gravel back then. And she threw something, a shoe or something there. And buddy, my little bitty mommy ain't 5'3" or 5'4". They lit into her, they flew into her hair.
Oh, wow.
And started pecking her and knocked her flat down in the gravel road, buddy.
Oh, God.
And I remember we had it on somehow or another. It was on video. My sister or whoever was doing the filming had this big suitcase RCA camcorder.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how big they used to be?
Yeah.
And had it on video. And she was trying to get something. Well, end up she had to get in the car and drive down the road, open the door, and lean out and get whatever it was she was trying to get to.
That she probably threw. That's
Yeah,
a flip flop.
Yeah, it was something that she shouldn't have thrown at the guineas, but she had to get back.
Big Dan's bologna sandwich.
Where'd I go get my sandwich?
Yeah, go get that. You saw, ain't it going out there? They've eaten me alive. Thanks, Kim. Yeah, Mom, go get it.
Yeah, I know that's on video somewhere. I'd love to find it.
You can win money.
Oh my
yeah.
Lord!
America's Funniest on Video.
Yeah, you remember when that was a thing? Boy, I'm gonna send that in America's Funniest.
Now,
on
it
Video.
still is. My kids watch it on. It's got Carlton from Fresh Prince. He
Oh, they
hosts it
still
now.
do it?
Yep,
Yeah,
still
we
do.
watch it
know
at the
that.
house every now and
Yep.
then.
It's
that's
actually
funny.
we watch it and laugh. I get just nostalgia in my
Oh, yeah.
mind, going back. It makes me think of a time I bought a little camcorder for my sister for Christmas one year, and she had a treadmill. Now, most of the time in my family, and probably a lot of people's that's listening, you used a treadmill to hang clothes on.
Yeah,
you didn't really get on it. You did
we've
the
got
first 3 or
one,
4.
and I guarantee something's hanging. on it now.
You got on it the first week or two, but then you realized, heck gosh, and so you started hanging your nice clothes on it, and so my sister had one, and she lived in Berea, in an apartment up there, and she'd go up there and walk on it, and I eased that thing up there and set it up where it would film her walking.
Lord.
And I pushed record, but I guess when I set it down, I turned it off on accident.
Yeah.
And I walked back downstairs, and so I heard the awfulest commotion. Boom, 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 bang, 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 bang. Oh, God! And I was like, yes! Because my sister was so clumsy.
Oh yeah.
And my little girl, McKenna's just like her. Clumsy, can't walk from here to there, wherever there's at, and fall over her feet.
Hey, what's going on?
The clumsiest youngin' ever was. And I was like, yes, we're going to be rich.
Oh yeah.
And went up there and didn't get it. She's laying there,
Oh Lord.
sitting there on the floor like this. I tripped over my own foot. Like, how do you do that on a treadmill?
Yeah. Gosh, I didn't know that was still airing. I didn't know Carlton was the host.
Yeah. Alfonso Riviera or something like that's his name.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Alfonso,
Rivera or something.
Ribeiro. It starts with an R.
Yeah.
Well,
Ends with an O.
man, that was good.
And I like to hear him talk.
Yeah.
He is one classy gentleman,
Yeah.
Carlton,
Carlton.
and quite the swell dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember him from that Dancing with the Stars. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Jones.
Yep.
He's always a pretty clean guy, you know.
Yeah.
I like that.
I've never heard
Appreciate
him. Well, we never thought Bob Saget was as bad
Oh,
as he
he was,
was. Lord
yeah.
have mercy,
Yeah.
son. I never dreamed that I'd heard the stuff come out of that man's mouth.
Never did.
I was like, I watched one movie, Dumb and Dumber or something on it, and when he started cussing, I was like,
Yeah.
you know, I was just shocked.
Totally ruined his image
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
That ain't right. He's supposed to be raising them little girls
Yeah.
living with their uncles.
Yeah. And where's Uncle Jesse? Prettiest man ever, Uncle Jesse.
We was talking about a movie before we got started recording, old Sling Blade.
Yeah.
And that movie surprised me out of Dwight Yoakam.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Talked in.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't even know that was him that played in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's the first time he ever took that cowboy hat off.
Yeah, probably.
First time I've ever seen him without one.
We ain't got no band, Randy. That's so funny. If you ain't watched it, you just got to watch it.
Gotta watch Sling Blade. That's a great movie.
That one guy, they're out there on that porch playing music, and that guy, you hear him in the background. Turn it down. He goes, they start cussing each other, and he goes, I'm gonna call the law. He goes, call the law. I'm friends with
J.D. Shellnut.
Shellnut, chief of police.
I play poker or something with him or something.
Carl just sitting up there. All right, then. And the best to know is Linda, Linda and Dole. They wake up in the bed and Carl's standing there at the door, holding a hammer. He goes, "What do you want?" He goes, "I want to be baptized."
Can you imagine?
That's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, it is mine too. I love it.
I've not watched it in some years. I'm gonna have to go back and revisit that one.
That one and Napoleon Dynamite, I believe.
Oh, I
could
love-
watch.
yeah.
I could
Oh,
watch them over and over and over and just sit in line.
I love them movies. There's very few movies that you can just watch over and over and over again, but them's two of them.
Oh, brother, where are you? That's in my.
Yeah,
top
that's a good
few.
one.
I like The Apostle real good. Robert Duvall.
I ain't
I've
never
seen
seen his,
Oh,
but I like Robert Duvall movies.
Oh yeah.
He plays a Pentecostal preacher.
Big man. Whoa!
And I tell you what, they couldn't have picked a better person to play that part.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, you need to watch it. It's good.
It's called The Apostle.
The Apostle.
I'll have to check it out.
Going back,
June Carter Cash plays his mommy in it.
Okay.
going back to Dwight Yoakam, he's a Kentucky boy.
Yes,
he's
he
up
is.
on Highway 23 there somewhere.
Yep.
Yep.
And when I was a kid, I loved Dwight Yoakam.
I still do. I
do
listen
too.
to it. I
yeah.
listen. I've got on my Pandora. I've got it set on 80s country.
Yeah.
And had to play at Reading, Riding, Route 23. He's talking
Yeah.
about home,
Yeah.
I like
Microphone's
this boy's having a terrible time out
this
this
microphone don't like me.
We'll get her adjusted.
It's running from me.
But that microphone don't like fat people. Yeah, I love it. It just blows me away. Like I didn't even realize it was Dwight Yoakam. I'd heard people tell me, and
Yeah.
I had to watch the credits.
Yeah. He is really hard to recognize without that hat because it's kind of just like his calling card.
Yeah.
And, as much as I like his music and that twangy sound of all of it, I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
He is a fantastic bad guy in a movie.
Yes.
Yes.
There was one where he's like a mob guy.
I've not seen that one, but there's a Western, and it's not, I wouldn't recommend it for
Children.
children
Yeah,
or
man.
anybody sensitive, but it's called, I think, The Last Rites of Ransom Pride. He is a mean
I ain't never
outfit
seen
in that.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Yeah. Rock on the White Yokel.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
I like a lot of his music. That
I
old
do too.
when I was growing up, Mommy bootlegged at the house there for years.
Well,
There was always a bunch of drunks around, and they always said that he was Buck Owens' boy.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he always everybody said that. We'd watch Hee Haw reruns,
Yeah.
and Buck on there, hey, Buck. But they had all the old, I call them the fogies.
Yeah.
They'd say, yeah, that's Buck Owens' boy. Tries to sound just like him, and I like that. I dig that sound.
Yeah.
I do too.
What do they call it? No, it ain't rockabilly. It's
No,
It's they call sometimes it's called the Bakersfield sound.
yep, the Bakersfield.
And sometimes they just the twang, you
Yeah.
know.
But I always liked that.
people blame that on Buck Owens, but really the twang sound came from Don Rich, Buck Owens' guitar player.
Okay, yeah.
And I think Don got killed in a motorcycle accident.
He did.
And
he was the one that sung the high harmony.
yeah,
Man, he could sing.
He was responsible for all them fantastic guitar parts too.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was a big fan of him. There's a bluegrass guy. I know you don't much particularly like bluegrass. Brewster. I can't think of his name, but he plays with Ricky Skaggs, and he does the Kentucky waltz or Tennessee waltz.
Yeah.
And man, he sounds a lot like Don. That high, that real high, almost a falsetto. But I mean, it's unreal.
Sticky Rags is from Kentucky too.
Yep, Stope Sticky.
I liked Ricky Skaggs. He's.
I reckon he is a super nice guy too.
Yeah. When I was little bitty, get off your high horse.
Yep.
Honey. All that.
And honey, won't you open that door? That was my song.
That he was a crossover artist from bluegrass to country, and that's kind of when he done it, and that was just a fantastic sound.
Well, he did it before Keith did.
Yeah.
And Keith Whitley, but I'm a huge Keith Whitley fan.
I love Keith Whitley.
There's a lot of people, a lot of big Keith Whitley fans, but some of us are bigger than others.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty huge Keith Whitley fan. He just got inducted to the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's about time,
Right.
Yeah.
He was an innovator and was only out for 2 or 3 years, like real big. But he'd been out. A lot of people didn't know it. He'd been singing most of his life. I think he went on the road when he was 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And him and Ricky. Mm-hmm. And then Ralph Stanley heard him. But I enjoy listening to that. A lot of the J.D. Crowe stuff, because it doesn't really sound like bluegrass. It's more of a country sound. And he would take modern country songs and turn them bluegrass.
Yeah.
My brother would tell a story that, like I said, Mommy bootleg. For those that don't know what bootlegging is, there was a time that where we live was considered a dry county, and that means that they were not allowed to sell alcohol. So my mom, she had a Buick Regal, 83 Buick Regal, and the air shocks in it. They would put a bunch of air in the 2-back air shocks. We would go to Ernie's Liquor down Main Street, Richmond on the right, and she'd get 40, 50 cases of beer. We'd load it down, it would even that car out. And then we'd come home, and it'd be gone by the weekend, You'd go up there on a Friday, and it'd be gone. She never did make much money. Because I guess because she's dating a guy that probably drunk half of it. But boy, I got stories about them days. I remember them like this yesterday.
I know that guy.
Yeah,
I'd say you're not wrong.
Yeah. Most people in the county in the northern part, they know that guy. But yeah, I've got tons of stories about them days growing up. But my brother would tell a story. See Keith in the Miami band.
That's my favorite Keith Whitley song.
Miami.
And that's not because my beautiful wife's name is Amy, but it's just a great laid out song.
It's a pretty song. But when he had that band and it had our local guy Randy, which I think if y'all could get him up here, he'd probably be able to tell you some stuff on the podcast. That would be great. But they supposedly they came to my house in a limousine. I don't know if this is true. I was 5 or 6 years old when they played up here at the high school.
Yeah.
But supposedly they came to our house and bought everything Mom had.
Wow.
And supposedly I sat in Keith Whitley's lap and he gave me a guitar pick. And I remember my brother saying he had a blonde afro.
Oh, yeah.
I remember he said he was so wild when he got there. They was already drunk,
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't doubt if it's true.
Who knows? I mean, I can't remember.
But I wouldn't doubt it at all.
Yeah. Lots of stories, lots of memories.
Yeah.
I'm Brenna with Hospice Care Plus. These days, more families than ever are committed to caring for seriously ill loved ones at home. Hospice Care Plus can help. We offer hospice care at home, of course, but also palliative care at home. And for those short periods when inpatient care may be needed, we even have our own facility, the Hospice Care Plus Compassionate Care Center. Our only goal is to help you and your family meet your goal, to be together at home with the people you love in the place that you love. Call today to learn more, 859-986-1500 or hospicecareplus.org.
We had just a tiny little break there, and oh, the madness.
We have literally talked about anything about it that you could talk about.
Do you remember going on a field trip when we was, I guess, elementary school, and somebody asked you to get up in front of the class and tell a joke? Do you remember that?
Yeah, but it wasn't a joke. It was a story. Yeah.
And you told the soap story.
Yeah, I told a soap story.
I was wondering if you remember that.
He remembers everything.
I knew he would.
I remember.
And I knew he'd correct me when we were about the facts.